Hello, Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today we'll be learning different points on inside and outside the PPC. Actually, previously we have already discussed about the relationship between production possibility curve, that is PPC, and opportunity cost. So now today we'll be learning these different points of PPC. So let's move on to our topic. So if we want to explain this, before this we have to draw the diagram, and I think you can remember the diagram. So this is our diagram. Over here we produce wheat, and over here we produce clothes. We just consider any two products, so it's up to you. You can give any other two products, no problem. So over here you see there are different types of points on the PPC. So if I consider this is a point on the PPC, there are actually hundreds of thousands of points on the PPC. I'm just going to give only 2 points so that I can explain you properly, you can understand everything to the point. And over here I gave another point, that is point C, suppose, and this point is actually inside the PPC. These are the points on the PPC, and this is another point that is outside the PPC, point E. Okay, now I'll explain one after another all the points. So what does the point A and B mean? If you already followed my previous lecture, you know that these points are efficient point. What does it mean? Means at this point, actually, we used all our available resources in technology perfectly and absolutely. Nothing is unused. একটা resource কিন্তু আমরা unused রেখে দেই না. All the resources are properly utilized over here. That's why if we want to move from this point to this point, we have to give up. There are opportunity costs, and you can remember from the previous lecture. If you don't understand this, please follow the previous lecture. I think you will get it properly. Okay, so now this point, if we talk about point C inside the PPC, this point is inefficient point. This is not efficient point. Why? Because এই যে পয়েন্টটা ইনসাইড দিস পিপিসি, এই পয়েন্ট আমাদেরকে দেখাবে যে যত রিসোর্সেস আমার ইকোনমিতে আছে, এই যে 4টা ফ্যাক্টরস অফ প্রোডাকশনের কথা আমি বলেছিলাম ইন আওয়ার লাস্ট ক্লাস, রাইট? ল্যান্ড, লেবার, ক্যাপিটাল, এন্টারপ্রাইজেস. সো উই ইউজ অল দ্য resources over here. Is it? No, actually we don't use all the resources over here. We use all the resources at point A and B. So at this point, yeah, we use our resources, but incompletely. Some resources are unemployed. So there are maybe, say, 5 lakhs laborers are there. So out of 5 lakhs labor, maybe 3 lakhs or 3.5 lakhs workers are utilized in the economy. Remaining 1.5 lakh workers are unemployed. They are searching for jobs, but they couldn't manage one. So those workers are unemployed. Or maybe in our economy there are 200 factories, and in these factories, there are hundreds of thousands of machineries are there. So some machineries may be unused. We are not using those machineries, or even maybe we are not using some factories. Why? Because maybe investment is poor, or in market there are low demand. So somehow we are not utilizing our resources completely. Some resources are being used, some are unused. That's why this point is known as inefficient point, and there are unemployment. So at this point we see the combination of wheat and clothes again. So suppose we produce 50 clothes and 60 wheat over here. This is a combination. But you see one thing, if we want to increase the production of wheat from this point to this point, yeah, we can increase, no problem. What happened to the production of wheat? Wheat production is increasing from 6 to say 100. So we are increasing wheat production, but we don't have to give up clothes production. We are still producing 50 units of clothes. What does it mean? At point C, the combination is 50 clothes, 60 wheat. And at point A, the combination is 50 wheat and 100 clothes. So you see, clothes production remains same. If we move from C to A, still we are putting the same amount of clothes. Why? Because our resources are not fully utilized. So we have some other machineries or workers, we are using them, and they are producing more production. So that's why wheat production increases, but we don't have to give up clothes production. That's why this point is called inefficient point, and we are utilizing resources. And if we move from C to A, we are moving from inefficient point to the efficient point, and there are no opportunity cost over here. But if we move from A to B or B to A, there are opportunity cost, as there are nothing unused. All the resources are fully utilized, and we explained this in our previous lecture. Decrease, right? But if we move from C to A, Yeah, there are employment increases, that means unemployment decreases. Same thing. If we move from C to B, same, employment increasing. But if we move from A to B, these are efficient points. There are no opportunity costs. So over here, this is full employment, this is full employment. That means not a single workers or any other resources are unemployed over here. Everything is used over here also. So if we move from A to B, what happens to the employment? Is there any change? No. A to B move করা মানে হচ্ছে এমপ্লয়মেন্ট এখানেও ফুল এমপ্লয়মেন্ট এখানেও ফুল এমপ্লয়মেন্ট, কোনো আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট বাড়বে না কমবে না, বিকজ এখানে কোনো আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট নেই। Over here there are no unemployment, over here there are no unemployment. So a movement from A to B has nothing to do with employment or unemployment. There are always full employment, there are always full employment over here. But if we move from inside the PPC to on the PPC, any point on the PPC, actually employment is increasing, because আমরা যখন এটা মুভটা করব এই ইনসাইড থেকে অন দ্য পিপিসি, আমার রিসোর্সেস আর গ্র্যাজুয়ালি ইনক্রিজিং, আমি আর বেশি বেশি রিসোর্স ইউজ করছি। সো আমার ওয়ার্কার্স এতদিন যারা আনএমপ্লয়েড ছিল তারা এখন কাজ করছে, দে আর এমপ্লয়েড, সো গ্র্যাজুয়ালি আমার এমপ্লয়মেন্ট বাড়ছে। এবং ওয়ান্স আপন এ টাইম ওয়েন আই রিচ অন দিস পয়েন্টস, এনি পয়েন্টস অন দ্য পিপিসি, আমার কোনো লেবার, কোনো মেশিনারিজ, কোনো ইকুইপমেন্টস আর ইউজ থাকবে না। Everything is being properly utilized and there will be full employment. So these points on the PPC represents full employment point, but inside the PPC it represents, unemployment. And these points are inefficient point and these points are efficient point. What about point E? Yeah, point E is actually beyond the PPC. This is something we cannot reach there in the short run. If we want to move there, yeah, we can do that. আমরা লং রান এটা পারবো কখন? যখন আমার ইকোনমিতে প্রোডাক্টিভ ক্যাপাসিটি বেড়ে যাবে, আমার যে পিপিসি আছে এই বাউন্ডারি, এটাকে আমি ইনক্রিজ করতে পারবো। So productive capacity কখন বাড়বে? We will have this discussion in another lecture. In that case, we will discuss when this PPC curve shifts outward and when this PPC curve shifts inward. But before that, today we'll just explain different points on the PPC, inside the PPC and outside the PPC. So